Follow the Pair Passplay is a 7-card stud poker variant that is a combination of 2 games, Follow the Pair and Passplay. Players get a choice of cards to make the best 5-card poker hand in this wild card game. Play begins with antes, and then each player is dealt 2 cards face down. For all up cards, a player can either take the exposed up card or a random down card. Once all players have seen the up card, it is then discarded. In this instance, player number 1 has passed on the 3 and is dealt a random card, which is the 4 of spades. Player number 2 is then offered the 3 and chooses to take it. Player number 3 is offered the 7, passes on the 7, and receives the ace of diamonds. This is followed by a first round of betting. Player number 1 is then offered the 7, in which he passes and is dealt the king of hearts. Then player number 2 is offered the 7. He passes on the 7 and receives the jack of spades. Since all players have seen the 7 is then discarded and replaced with the ace. Player number 3 is then offered the ace. If he takes the ace, the next card up will be wild, unless it matches any up card in player number 1's hand. He decides to take the ace, and this is followed by our next round of betting. Player number 1 then has a choice. He can either pass on the 4 and take the next card wild, or take the 4, giving him a pair, potentially giving player number 2 a wild card. Player 1 takes the 4 of diamonds, and that is replaced with the 9. Player number 2 then takes the 9, making all 9s up and down wild. 9s will remain wild until a player is dealt a pair, which would then be followed by a new wild card. If a player is dealt trips, this will also be treated as a pair. That will also change the wild card. In an instance that the last up card exposes a pair, then there would be no wild cards, as the next card would be dealt down. Player number 3 then passes on the 2 and is given a random card, which is the 6 of diamonds. This is followed by our next round of betting. Player number 1 is offered the 2 and passes, and receives a 9, which is wild, giving player number 1 4 of a kind. Player number 2 is then offered and takes the 2, which completes his straight flush with 9s being wild. This is then replaced with a new up card, the 5. Player 3 then takes the 5, completing his full house, 5s over aces. This is followed by our next round of betting. Our last card is dealt face down, followed by our last round of betting. With 9s remaining wild, we see player number 1 has 4 of a kind, 4 4s. Player number 2 has a straight flush between 2 and 6. And player number 3 has a full house, making our winner player number 2 with a straight flush. Check out our video channel and subscribe for more games to play in your poker home game.